let's get this going. I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Lansing City Charter Commission. This is our May 13th, 2025 meeting. I'd ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Adam Simon.
Present.
Commissioner Anderson.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer. Commissioner Boyd.
Here.
Commissioner Dowd.
Here.
Commissioner Jeffries.
Here.
Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner Cooey. Commissioner Washington. You have 8 members present at quorum.
I would ask that Commissioner Bauer be excused, please. Now is the time for a motion to adopt the agenda. It's been moved. Is there support? Support. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The agenda is adopted. Motion would also be in order to approve the minutes for our May 6, 2025 meeting. It's been moved. It's been moved and supported. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Minutes are adopted. Now is the time for public comment.
Okay, we do have one virtual commenter today, Matt T. So if our folks in the back there can get Matt T queued up, that would be great. If Matt T is there, I think we've got you queued up. Maybe they're not there. Matt T, are you going to speak? While we're maybe still trying to get that going, we will go ahead and we do have one person in the audience, Michaela, who would like to speak. If you want to come down, we'll give you up to oh, you want period 2, right? Okay, at the end. All right. Well, it looks like the online is not working.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Okay. All right. So intern, Jessica Herrera, who's a U of M student, sadly, but
Jessica. Okay, we're under item number 7A, presentations. Amanda Castillo. We'll do it 5 minutes at a time. So you may proceed when you're ready.
Good evening. Once again, we just want to thank you for being so receptive to this meeting, to discuss the proposal. Got it. Can you tell I've never done this before? Good evening. Once again, thank you for being so receptive to this meeting to discuss this proposal. My name is Amanda Castillo.
My name is Sam Burton.
And we're part of a coalition of Lansing-based community members that are advocating for human rights and environmental justice. And I actually have copies of the proposal if anybody would like some. Otherwise, we can just go over it for you. It is in the packet? Okay, I didn't know if
Yeah,
we
the
needed
proposal
extra
should
hard
be in the
copies, so I
packet,
have some if
everybody's
needed.
packet.
And then if you want to go ahead and, there's all the definitions.
Okay, so you should have the proposal in hand then. And basically what it says is that the City of Lansing in its procurements and investments shall make its procurements and investments ethically. So what does that mean? Procurements are things that the city would buy if it needs to, say, buy bulldozers to, do construction or what have you. We would want it to make certain considerations for environmental justice and human rights. If, say, a company manufacturing bulldozers was in partnership with, say, somewhere, home demolitions or other human rights violations that human rights organizations and the International Court of Justice had deemed constitute the crime of apartheid, we would want that consideration to be made in the procurement of bulldozers. Or similarly, with investments in the, mostly for pensions, we would want the City of Lansing to meet a standard of human rights, environmental justice in deciding maybe not to invest in certain things and invest in things that uplift the values that Lansing claims to stand for instead.
City of Michigan to have set guidelines of ethical practices in order to set a progressive example for the rest of the state. We feel that ethical practices are an integral part of how a city is structured and governed. And while we understand that the city charter is not ultimately responsible for, nor has the final say in investments and purchasing, we do feel that you have the power to establish ethical guidelines as sort of a guardrail for the city of Lansing to adhere to in the future. Just as a way to just kind of give an outline of what we hope to create within the community of Lansing. And we're all set. That's all we have.
Okay.
So we're not going to need the full 10 minutes, but we are happy to take as much time as need to answer questions. I should speak into the mic when I say that.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, so do you know of any investments that the city is currently making that are unethical, in your opinion?
So we don't know, and it's hard to know the exact investments of the City of Lansing. We were recently able to get a list of the investments in the pension system via FOIA. We had some trouble with it. We actually were able to get a FOIA through thanks to AI, so that was interesting. So we're excited to look at it. We have certain suspicions. I believe Northrop Grumman, for example, is in the is it Northrop Grumman or there arms manufacturers in the S&P 500 would be a example. The example that I was referring to with bulldozers was about Caterpillar and their relationship with settlements in the West Bank. But there are a number of dirty businesses that we would feel might not meet these standards.
Thank you.
Other questions? Commissioner Kui?
I'm reading on your form here, and could you go into detail about number C, the investments or procurements in the industries, entities or ventures about the products or byproducts, natural environment such as fossil fuels? Could you elaborate more on that?
Sure. So, fossil fuels are very harmful to the environment. But we understand that the city of Lansing is not going to go fully electric overnight. We're not trying to sneak a back door in where you have to change out your entire city fleet of vehicles or anything like that. But investments in fossil fuel companies, as an example, I would say would be would be contrary to the spirit of this. And obviously this is a first draft, and elements of it are open to negotiation. This is our first step. Does that answer your question?
Well, I guess my question is, say right now, and again, we have multiple investments, but if that whole portfolio, say we have ExxonMobil as part of that, are you asking the city to remove that from there? Which usually is a big, huge portfolio. If that's part of the pension program, that's what I'm asking. Are you asking them
Yes,
to?
this proposal would ask the city to, where possible, divest from companies like ExxonMobil in favor of companies with a better environmental record.
But if they have, again, millions of dollars invested in that, and that could be harmful to the people that pension represent, what do you expect in a case like that?
I would say in that case, so we're hoping that this would just be more like an outline to just open discussion within the community. Hopefully the community can get more involved in these decisions that are being made and invest more in renewable sources of energy. There are a lot of different ways that we can not only get energy sources, but creating more jobs with more renewable energy sources that don't require the extraction of fossil fuels, which is been proven time and time again to be extremely destructive to our environment, to our own health as
Right.
just human beings, to animals, everything. And so just hoping that it would just start to sort of pave the way to begin to make those divestments in the future.
Commissioner Boyd?
Have you approached any other entities in Lansing City government about this proposal besides the Charter Commission?
Not at this time, no, this is kind of our first step.
And I think that Mr. Burton acknowledged that the City Charter Commission has really no responsibility when it comes to this. Did I understand that correctly?
So I understand that the city charter does not have the responsibility for any discrete investment, but the people who do have responsibility for a given discrete investment are likely not elected. They are appointed people. They are financial professionals. And if there isn't some sort of guideline or directive to take ethics into account, they won't, and that's not even necessarily anything against them. They sort of can't, right? It's, these are professionals. They are in a specific role based on a specific kind of expertise. And if the city of Lansing is going to represent its values, there has to be some sort of directive. But yes, in the case of any discrete item, whether it be ExxonMobil or Caterpillar or whatever else, concerned citizens like us would be going to those people instead of you.
May I ask one follow-up question? Have you looked at other cities in the state of Michigan? Are there any cities that have this sort of investment clause in their charter besides the one that you're obviously advocating for?
So when we were drafting this, I believe that the cities we drew from were in maybe California and Ohio, but we did find examples of city charters that had similar language to draw from. I don't believe those cities were in Michigan, but I think that has more to do with our Google searching than anything else.
Well, let me just say, as one commissioner, just speaking for myself, and this sort of follows up on what my colleague Mohammed Kiwi was talking about. You know, what you are proposing sounds so unwieldy to me. I don't even know how our people would go about implementing this proposal that you've put before us. The whole notion of environmental issues and what's the word I'm looking for? Renewables. You know, that really falls under what the sustainability committee that the mayor has appointed is kind of looking at. So I mean, I just don't even know how you would go about doing what you want to have done. I don't understand.
So we're kind of hoping that this becomes like a jumping off point where we can start negotiations and discussions with, you know, whatever committees are responsible. This is just something that we knew that the charter was up for, you know, being revamped this year, and we felt that this was possibly an appropriate place to propose an ethical investment clause.
So by your own admission, you don't have any details? I'm asking.
Details of like
how this would be implemented.
Well, we are sort of new to this, so we're just kind of going from the charter, and if there's a sustainability committee, we can present to them as well, and that would be a very logical step to take.
I want to start by saying I really respect, I think, the ideology of this. I also have concern about the investment piece, mainly from the standpoint of, you know, we promise these pensions to our city employees, and we want to ensure that we're able to uphold that. And that's been something that we've struggled with for years, is making sure that there's enough funds available to honor that. And so my concern would be implementing something that requires drastic change to how we're investing those funds that could possibly have a negative impact on what's available. So that I would say is my starting point, is that I do have major concern, and I'm not an investment specialist or a financial expert, so I don't know what that actually looks like. And I would be interested in, you know, you mentioned cities in California and Ohio who are implementing something like this, but what their portfolio looks like and what they're investing in, and what the return is on those investments, to see if it's something that's actually even reasonable or responsible. I mean, this is responsible, but it's irresponsible in other ways, right? And so figuring out if this is something that we could do, is there a balance within that?
Right.
And maybe the language is as simple as ensuring that the pension boards are investing in sustainable and ethical companies as much as possible, right? Where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also I would say some concerns I have are with procurement. And I would say, like, item A, item C, just from like the standpoint of like, we do obviously purchase weapons as a city. You know, we have a police department, and regardless of our stance on policing, like they are going to police, right? And then as well as fossil fuels, right? Like we talked about the city's vehicles, fire trucks, police, I don't know what they're called, cars, trucks. But just, you know, procurement is literally buying those items, and we still, you know, as we operate today, still have to be able to purchase those items. And so I think, you know, Commissioner Boyd mentioned being able to work with the Sustainability Advisory Board on maybe implementing what does it look like for the city to move to electric vehicles, right, over a specific amount of time. Are those goals that we already have? Are there those goals that we're looking toward? So yeah, those are just some of my initial thoughts. I don't know if you have anything in response to those things, but that's just where my head is at regarding this in general.
Yeah, so as with the city, you know, not being a request to electrify the city's vehicles overnight, it is also not a backdoor for, you know, any of our opinions on police demilitarization overnight. We understand that cops carry guns and are going to continue to do so. What I would hope that procurements in that sort of sphere would cover more would be sort of escalations in that. You know, the horror story about the police department acquiring a tank in somewhere. Not that I expect Lansing to do that necessarily, but that sort of thing, or some sort of invasive surveillance technology, which, again, Lansing less likely to do that sort of thing than a larger city for a number of reasons, but those sorts of ideas. No. And I am not trying to get confrontational about this either, but I also hope that, you know, I hear a lot when discussing investment and divestment that these investment portfolios are just so complicated, they're so intertwined or interconnected that it's not possible to divest from this or that thing. It is not possible to meet any sort of ethical standard about you know, this or that thing. But you know, we've seen bodies make pretty quick changes to their investments over, for example, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And I think that the city of Lansing would likely have tried to do that if it were, you know, if it found its finances were closely connected there. You know, if it were IG Farben in the 1940s, speaking as a Jew, I would hope they would make that effort. So, you know, I don't think that's what you're saying, that, you know, we just have to accept, you know, the money wherever it comes from. But I think that there is a better way, and I'm hoping that this proposal is a step in the right direction.
Thank you. I appreciate your passion, but it doesn't sound to me like this is ready to be brought forward really to any group. I'm never comfortable when somebody tells me they got their information from Googling. I would prefer more data. I would prefer more substantiated information. And having sat on the retirement boards, It is as difficult as it sounds. And I'm not comfortable enshrining something in our charter where the pension boards are filled with retirees, the union people, financial experts, financial attorney experts, and administration and counsel from our city. Social justice issues change throughout the years, and social justice issues are multifaceted. And I am not comfortable with enshrining it in the Constitution of our city, because what might be a social justice issue today may go away, and then it's something else, and you're going to have everybody coming in and telling every board and procurement people and pension people what they need to do with their money and their investments. I just don't think, I appreciate your passion. I just don't think this is something that belongs in the charter. I think it needs to be more fluid and should be with the sustainability folks. I'm not comfortable with having an investment citizen advisory board that I read about. People, the citizens don't have the financial knowledge they need to be reviewing these things and to be making decisions. I don't know where all my investments are. I depend on experts, because if I were to do my own, I'd probably go broke. It's just, it's not as simplistic. And I don't begrudge you bringing this to us, but by your own admission, you're not ready. You think it's a jumping board. The charter's not a jumping board. And it would be my recommendation that you think this out further, that you do real research, and then you decide where and when that should be approached. Thank you.
Commissioner Kui.
So just to be clear, when I say that it was our Googling, I mean we used a search engine to find instances of similar clauses in other city councils. This isn't, we aren't citing Wikipedia. I'm not trying to be confrontational, but, and I am sure that there is more research that we can do to, flesh it out in more detail, but,
Just very quickly, and this I'm just offering, is when you do present this in the future, have your data, have your sites referenced, have the information. This really doesn't tell us anything. And I think you should have a comprehensive study and research about the efficacy, the data, what the results have been in other cities before, I'm just saying it just needs a little more work, okay?
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Commissioner Kui.
I'm
Third
just
time.
curious, you mentioned that there were, I'm
Commissioner
sorry.
Boyd. Commissioner Kui.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
That,
It was the third time.
that,
Yes, the word.
that is
Sorry,
okay.
I thought you mentioned my name.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate the work that you guys have done, and I think it's a very good starting point that maybe something similar to this, maybe pared down or entry level to go into our sustainability clause or the Department of Sustainability. I think moving forward, again, I know they've done this with some of our public transportation buses and what have you, with moving to the electric. The city of East Lansing has electric police cars. So I see your vision there, and I know that it can be done in small stages, just that maybe starting in the sustainability department and move forward down the road how we could implement a lot of the changes you'd like to see. That's all.
Commissioner Boyd.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I apologize again, Commissioner Cui, for jumping ahead. I'm sorry for that. You mentioned, Mr. Burton, about some cities had done something regarding the fighting in Ukraine or the Ukrainian war. What was it you're referring to? Because I didn't quite follow that.
As far as city investments, I was referring to the Michigan State Investment Board, which was directed by the governor immediately after Russia's invasion of Ukraine to divest itself either wherever possible or just to divest itself from Ukrainian and Belarusian assets and Russian and Belarusian. I am sorry, but yeah. So to divest from Russian, Belarusian assets and the assets of companies that were deemed complicit in the invasion.
And the governor asked that they do that or look at that. Do we know what happened? Did they actually do that?
Yes, they did. It was in 2022. They actually, there was a letter that was sent to, I believe, Treasurer Eubanks, if I'm not mistaken, to have an emergency meeting to discuss the investments in Russian and Belarusian assets and like with pensions and things like that. They immediately held a meeting, an emergency meeting that was not scheduled, and everybody voted unanimously to completely divest from those two entities.
And do we know what they did? Do we know what they did? I mean, they
What-
may have voted to do this, but do we know what they did? I'm just curious.
Were holdings in those things from which they divested.
Do you know?
So I don't know for sure that they had and maintained. I don't believe that they had and maintained holdings in assets connected. That is an interesting question that I am excited to find out. But
Let me just say this, I share my colleagues' interest in this issue, and I know that you don't speak alone because we've received many letters from people about this issue, so I understand that it's a serious one, but I agree with my fellow commissioners who have already said that I think we need more than we have. For one, it probably doesn't belong in the charter, probably belongs somewhere in city government, and you probably need to come back with more information, more concrete information, if you want it to see the light of day. So that's all I would say.
Okay.
Thank you.
You know, I'd like to make a couple of comments. I agree with a lot of what's been set up here, particularly in terms of our ability to understand how this would apply to all of city government. I mean, this is an incredibly broad plan that you've brought forward, and so I'd be very reluctant to get involved in it. And I think what you should do in terms of pursuing this issue with the city is I'd start talking to city council and to the mayor and look at making it an ordinance. I think it's more appropriate as an ordinance than it would be embedded in the city charter. That would give flexibility to the city in the future, that when things change, they can change with it. And it would also give you, I think, an opportunity to have a really good discussion and flush out these issues with other groups to come up with a policy that's going to be, I think, something acceptable to most people. If I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at the purchasing policy of the city. They do address issues like sweatshops and things like that, prevailing wage issues in terms of doing business with other companies. That might be something that you could look at and maybe get some ideas from. But the other thing that concerns me about not this, I mean, kind of just as an overall look, is the word ethical. I mean, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And when I was a student at Michigan State University as an undergrad, I took a class from the religion department on ethics. And we spent a long time dealing with situational ethics, where the means or the ends justify the means. And so I'm always kind of leery when I see that. And I think you might want to look at that as well. And the last thing I would just say when I'm looking at some of what this may do, the first thing I thought of, do we have to divest with the Board of Water and Light? I mean, do we, it's always been an issue in the city, should we sell the board? I've never felt that we should do that. But looking at this policy, I mean, it could kind of push it that way. And so I would have concerns about that as well. But in any event, I really think you should be talking with city council, the mayor's office, and looking at doing it as an ordinance quicker. You know, so that would be my comment and to you. Are there any other questions, comments? Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Just thank you for the take this, and I really appreciate that, so that we can get this more fleshed out and hopefully have more of a positive effect for the city of Lansing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. So the next item on our agenda, we have a presentation from Crystal Thomas, who is our city treasurer and CFO. We're going to kind of tie that presentation into the new business dealing with Article 7. Why don't you have a seat, Crystal? Basically, what she's agreed to do is when we go through Article 7 and we go through section by section, a lot of this is what is our current process that we're employing to do the things in terms of our budget process, our taxation process, assessment process. And so I really would like to have, Crystal, if we could go through this section by section, if you could just verify for us whether or not this is currently what we're doing or what the city's doing, and if it's not, then we should be looking at amending the charter to reflect what the current situation is. There are things in here, too, that may need updating, dealing with certain aspects of setting the millage and stuff like that. So would that be okay with you to go that route?
Yes. Good evening.
Why don't
I
you-
want to just,
just-
can you hear me okay?
Press the button.
Closer?
There you
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
I speak a little soft, so maybe I needed to move it up a little closer. But good evening. I want to thank you for the opportunity to meet with you and to go over Article 7. As has been noted, I have been appointed CFO for all of 6 weeks now.
So you've got it down.
So I will go through this with you to the best of my ability.
Appreciate
So there you have it.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Okay, so does everybody have Article 7 in front of them?
Page 16.
Yeah, page 16 of the packet. Okay, the first chapter is on the budget. Section 7-101 is the submission of the budget. Why don't you take a moment to take a look at that? I believe the city is still doing that.
Yes,
Okay.
this is all correct.
Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-102, council budget priorities need to be submitted to the mayor by no longer or no later than October 1st. Is that
That-
still happening?
That is correct.
Does the city council, are they actually providing priorities, budget priorities?
Yes.
They do? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is there any question there? Is there a motion to move, support? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-103 is the budget message. We have different multiple sections. Point 1, requiring the mayor to submit a budget message. I think he's still doing that. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed. Point 2, the message shall explain how the proposal addresses the priorities proposed by city council.
That's correct.
Okay. It's been motioned to approve. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3, about the measure, what it contains.
Correct.
Okay. It's been moved and supported. If I could just ask, how detailed is that information that's provided? is it a line item kind of detail, or is it,
Well, it rolls up, so the detail is behind the roll-up, if that makes sense to you. When we're rolling up what the, okay, let me see how I want to use this in layman terms. So the detail is behind the
Okay.
summary, if that makes sense.
and so all
So when I
that,
say roll-up,
Yep.
that's what I'm
Okay.
referring to.
so that's all provided then to council?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Is there a motion to support, or to move? Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Then point 4,
Yes, this is all correct, related to bonds and debt.
okay. Is there a motion to move and support? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 5,
Correct?
is there a motion to support or to approve? And there's support. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 6,
Correct.
is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. And point 7,
That is correct.
it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes unanimously. Budget hearing, 7-104.1.
Yes.
Is there a motion to support? Those opposed, or, I'm sorry, to approve, to support. All those in favor say aye. All right, thanks. Those opposed, passes. Point 2,
No changes.
be a motion to approve. Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-105, adoption of budget resolution. Point 1.
No
Oh,
changes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Washington.
Chair Jeffers, this has always disturbed me. It says not later than the third Monday of May of each year, the council shall by resolution adopt the budget for the ensuing. They don't even finish their hearings until that time. And so I know from having been on council, as do you, that a lot of people, some of the council members are approving budgets and they don't even really know what they're doing. They haven't had time to examine it. They haven't had time to digest it. They haven't had time, because when you're having your last budget hearing almost the night of passing the resolution, you are not doing a thorough job on the budget. And the council has two responsibilities: ordinances and the budget. And this has always disturbed me.
Is there any, Commissioner Boyd?
Building on what you're saying, do you have issues with any of these dates? I mean, if we're looking at that third week in May, understandably, then should we be looking at all of the dates for the budget?
You know, Commissioner Boyd, what I'm thinking is maybe that, or putting something in the charter that requires the council to have their hearings finished before the signing of the budget. Because I guarantee you, the majority of the council does not know what they're doing when they pass that budget. And that's one of their major responsibilities. I don't know how to get around it, but
Well, I mean, should there be some back date that starts the budget process that if-
I would think the council can only work with what they're given. So I know the budget came out a couple of weeks ago. I got a copy of it and everything. So are you saying maybe just, you're just basically saying maybe people who are new don't understand the budget or what they're doing, or?
people that are old on council don't understand it.
Okay.
Let's just put it out there. I'm not gonna put it on the new people.
Okay.
There are people on council that have been there for years and don't know what the budget is. And they don't have time to ask the appropriate questions. They don't have time. If you'll notice, you only have 2 or 3 people that ever ask questions, meaningful questions. And I don't know if we make the time longer, or if we make sure that council finishes their hearings a couple weeks before passing the budget, but something needs to be done.
Crystal, do you have any thoughts?
So, also, I'm a retiree of the state of Michigan, and I worked in the Department of Treasury, both in finance and accounting, as well as budget and IT, as well as tax administration. But one of the things that we did with the newly elected officials is we had a budget school for them. And so you could take advantage of doing a workshop. You can utilize staff just to help educate them as to the process, what is expected of them. That's an alternative to adjusting dates out and different things like that. But because we understood that a lot of times people are not coming in with a certain finance or budget background, and that was a way that we just did a welcome for them, and we went through the process. It was just a day that they spent with the budget office. So we thought that that was pretty successful, but I just thought I would offer that as something that we could do here at the city.
Commissioner Washington.
I like that suggestion, I really do, because I think it's important. You know, people run for council and tell you they're going to make all kinds of promises, but their job is the purse and the ordinances.
Yes.
That's their job. And, but I still think we have to find a way to not have the last budget hearing just a day or two before the signing of the budget.
So in terms of timing, in terms of backing up that, I mean, how do you look at the timing process and the whole budget process?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts,
Yes.
because you've got to think about all of the departments that are also preparing. They're doing their day-to-day activities as well as preparing for the budget, for their part of the contribution of it, if you will. So that, all of that would then there would be that domino effect if we were to start adjusting those dates back, because then we would have, from a department standpoint, we would have lesser time to put those budgets together as well. So it would be a domino effect.
Okay, so when council gets the budget, I mean, it used to be, I don't know what they do now, but we would schedule out all the hearings immediately, and you could see then on the calendar which department's coming in.
Yes.
When they have to do that, the amount of
Yes.
time they have to do that. Is that still happening?
Yes, that is still happening.
All right. Commissioner Washington.
But Brian, just like when we were on council, I mean, I know one council president had to be like a 40-hour week and everybody came in and did it. There are different ways to do it, but you're still only doing it at committee at the whole with one department, two departments, so it takes like forever. I think that time needs to be shortened up so they do need to know how to look at a budget and how to figure it out. A lot of people don't have that skill, but they also need to have an opportunity to digest the budget that's set in front of them.
So from your perspective, if council were to adjust that schedule, instead of doing it just one meeting a week, committee of the whole meeting a week, and having, if they do 2 meetings a week, how many, are they doing only one a week now for budget hearings?
I believe it is just one
Okay.
week. Yeah.
And if it was moved to 2 a week, if we move the date back in terms of when they have to finish their review of the budget by a week or 2, they're going to have to push, have 2 meetings a week just to get through that. From your perspective, from the department side of things, from the administration side of things, is that something that's still doable?
I would have to, Jake Brower he does a lot with our budget, and so I would have to, converse with him and just see what that impact would be on the city departments. I can get that information for you. I just don't have that off the top of my head.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowd.
If I could ask Commissioner Washington, is what you're proposing, because it kind of makes sense to just put a little bit of a back date, just stating that all hearings must be done no later than 2 weeks prior to the signing of, and so then they just need to figure that out. Like, we don't need to put in what that looks like. We are just putting a parameter on. I'm paraphrasing to make sure that I understand what you're suggesting. Is that correct?
That is correct. And that's not a bad idea.
Well, I think it's also important to know if it's doable and what the impact is going to be on that. I was just informed by the clerk that they actually got their budget done, their budget hearings done yesterday. So they're way ahead of the game.
But that's not usually the case, and it's still,
Yeah.
yeah, but still, it should be 2 weeks. So, I mean, Brian, we examined the budget together. It takes time.
Yes. If you could get back with us with some information on
Yes.
that, that would be really helpful. So we will kind of pull that out as a consideration for a later date. Mhm. Thank you. All right. So we'll come back to point 1. Point 2. I think that's pretty straightforward. Is there support? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes unanimously. 7-106, item veto. We've dealt with this, some of this language in a prior section or prior article. Point 1. It's been moved. It's supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. So no one wants to take the veto away? Okay. Point 2. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. 7-107, effective appropriation. Point 1.
That's correct.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Oh,
Okay.
this is
I'm
being-
sorry.
This is currently being followed, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Point 2. It's pretty standard.
Yes.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Point 3.
I have a statement on point 3.
Commissioner Dow.
My assumption is when this went into act a long time ago, $5,000 seemed like an amount that was right. I would suggest removing the dollar amount and just keeping the percentage.
Crystal, what do you see? Does this ever happen? Or is it always done by an appropriation supplemental?
I'm not sure on this one.
Okay.
I'd have
Can-
to, it
Why don't we
says,
pull this one out
Okay.
and look at it? Let's make sure that if that number has to be increased, that amount.
In my suggestion, just so we know, is remove an amount and just leave the percentage.
Okay.
Because it's the lesser of 5,000 or 15%. If we just leave it at 15%, then it seems like it would fluctuate as the times change.
Well, I think that the theory behind this particular section was they wanted to leave it a low amount because then you can kind of take care of minor things. But if there's a bigger problem or a need for another appropriation, then you go to the supplemental appropriation section where the council will actually have to vote on it. So we'll come back to that and see where we can go. Point 4. Madam Vice Chair.
Is this being done right now? Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
The reverting funds, yes.
Director shall report the transfer to the city clerk. Or
I'm
has
sorry.
it been done?
I do not recall getting a report of a transfer, that portion of it, no.
Oh, you're talking about,
Yeah, the
Okay.
bottom of it.
I'm sorry, I thought you were moving on to the next.
I
Yeah, we
thought
were.
we were on point 4.
I just asked that question because she said she's gonna take that back. That's-
Okay.
so for number 3, okay, so we'll look into that for
I couldn't
sure.
remember the time when I was on council that there was a notice sent.
You don't?
Nope. All right, point 4. Is there motion support
That's correct.
or move? All right, all those in favor say aye. Passes. Commissioner Washington.
I'm just going back a little. With you.
Not to my knowledge. I'm not saying it hasn't been talked about, but I'm not aware of it. Again, I could look into that and let you know if that's something that we're doing or planning to do.
I would appreciate it, and I think it would be good for everybody else to have that knowledge. Thank you.
Commissioner Boyd.
I think at one point, it wasn't state government looking at, Crystal, at one point, wasn't state government looking at a 2-year budget?
Yes.
And I think they went against doing that. So while I would appreciate information, I can't see that we would want to do that for the city. Just saying.
I'm trying to go back in memory a little bit, and this is many years ago. Remember, I retired, so I've been under a lot of different administrations, but I do remember there was a multi-year budget, but I can't remember who the governor was at the time. Yeah, they may not be doing it anymore, but I do remember. I was kind of surprised, so yeah, long time ago.
I thought at one time, under the Bonero administration, it was floated as an idea to do a multi-year budget, but it never went anywhere, so. All right,
Just
7
real-
dash, sorry, Commissioner Washington.
I understand the wisdom behind a multi-year budget. I do, having worked with a lot of budgets. But I also understand with elected positions, if one mayor does a 3-year budget, in year 2, it could be a whole different mayor. So I get all that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, moving to 7-108, supplemental appropriations, point 1.
That is correct, yeah.
It's been moved and supported. Crystal, have you seen a supplemental appropriation yet?
Let me think.
For- you know,
I've seen it in my career,
Yeah.
if that's what you're asking.
Well, here in
In
the
the
city.
city, I can't say that I have been a part of that. This
think-
is kind of standard language, but I can't say that
I
I've been a
think-
part of it for the city.
I know there was a supplemental appropriation, I believe, when we had the ice storm. There was an emergency and they needed additional funds for that. But, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, we refer to them often in different ways. We refer to them frequently as a budget transfer, but, we kind of recognize that it's a 2/3 item. We call them 2/3 items because it requires the 6 votes here, or 2/3 vote of the city council. And in fact, frequently, I would say the most frequent one is we get grants from other agencies, and in the grant resolution, it authorizes the expenditure of the funds. And we always consider that is a supplemental appropriation because it's allowing the spending of money in addition to the budget that was funded by the grant, so.
Makes sense. Great. All right, there's a motion to support. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2. Commissioner Dow.
So, and clerk, maybe you could help with this. You just mentioned they call it the 2/3 decision. But my question about that phrasing there is that it's affirmative vote of 2/3 of council, but yet it only takes a majority to pass the budget. Does that make sense as to why we need a 2/3 majority to do supplemental appropriation?
Go ahead, Chris.
Because the charter says we have to.
So I'm suggesting we have a conversation about whether or not that needs to happen. I mean, if the majority of the vote can approve the budget, why couldn't a majority vote make an appropriation?
Well, I think that, we could always change the language, but, this is something that's going on outside of the normal budget process, and it may require greater scrutiny and a greater level of support to do that. I think that probably could have been some of it. I don't know. Wasn't there 45 years ago. So.
You weren't?
No. Oh, thank you. So.
I think if I could just
Sure.
add there, once the budget is set, it should be difficult to make changes. So if you kind of think about it like that, otherwise you're having a lot of movement, you know, kind of at a whim, where this way everyone kind of has to be on the same page.
I think that's what I said.
Yes, I think you said that.
All right. So, item 2, we did that one? Okay, 7-109, capital. Oh, we did not vote on 2. Is there support? Motion and support? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed?
I know.
All right, 7-109, capital improvement plan, point 1. We've talked about this already.
Correct.
Yep. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes. Point 2.
Actually, Emery, can you capture that the?
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, the.
Planning
We've
Commission.
updated the name change
Should be.
to the current throughout, but we missed that one, so. we got-
Okay. Good catch. Point 2.
Is this currently being done? Well, it hasn't been done because we haven't.
So,
I don't know if we need to have this in here. I mean, this was
Yeah.
to get it going from
Right.
the past, so. Is there a motion to delete
okay, strike.
or
Second.
repeal? All those in favor say aye. Passes. Kristen, were you good with that?
I want to check on it because I do know in our initial review of Chapter 1 that everything was consistent with state law. So I want to make sure that a vote to get rid of it is not contravening.
So we should just kind of leave this aside then? Or-
Yeah, I think, yeah, and we can come back next
come back.
time and just make sure. I think the question is it permissible to delete that section?
Okay. Point 3.
I just had a question on this one. Are you, is this just the planning commission or not a new commission? I just wanted some clarification there. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
we're just changing from board to commission.
okay, perfect.
Is there a motion to move it?
Is the 6 years still in effect when they do that?
I seem to think it was 5, but again, I would have to double check on that. Does that seem right? 5?
Let's just check.
Yeah, I think because I remember, I know when they ask us to prepare our department budgets, we're asked for multiple year things, but 6 does not ring a bell.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go back and check that. Nice catch. Okay. Point 4.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-110, control of expenditures. Does this happen? I,
I am not sure on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe the quarterly budget update is just how we refer to it.
Okay,
and
that
it's-
is
yes.
happening. Okay.
And yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay, there's been a motion, it's been approved. Just a second, let me take a
Okay.
look. Okay. There, we had former President Carol Wood in, talking about some issues that she had with the charter. And under the budget section, she pointed out that there are ongoing exceptions from the external auditor because there was some non-posting, let's see, that when there's going to be a deviation from the original general appropriation, Act, and it's necessary, and the amount of the deviation can be determined, there has to be an amendment to the appropriation bill. And apparently that happens internally, but that's not brought back to council for a vote. Are you aware of that?
No, I am not aware of
Okay.
that.
Okay. We can come, I don't think that's referencing this. I think there's another part in there. So, okay, on 7-110, we have a motion to approve and support. All those in favor say aye. Passes. Uniform system of accounts.
Second.
Is this the Uniform Budgeting Act? Is that what that
Yes,
refers to?
and so
Okay.
just,
All those in favor say aye. Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, there was, okay. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes. All right, taxation. Chapter 2, 7-201, power to tax, point 1.
I have a
So do
question.
we need to, oh, I'm sorry. Do we need to deal with the 20 mil? Is this
That's what I-
with limitation here as opposed, the 2% is a 20 mil?
yes.
Okay. Is it,
So that is still correct.
pardon me?
That is correct.
That is correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, all those, well, it's been moved, is there support? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. What?
This keeps it at 20 mils, right?
Correct. Well, we can lower it, too.
Yes.
I would be okay with that.
I'm
My
sorry.
concern is it doesn't, I mean, that's the state law, but this just says not to exceed 2%. So is that just inferred that the 20 mil is,
You can go up to 20 mils.
Right,
And-
okay.
And they do that,
okay.
repeated. Point, okay, Commissioner Washington?
Okay, this is just an added that our property taxes are 2.5 times the national average, and half of our taxes, property tax, is millages and bonds. This is why I don't want it to go over 20 mils.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Point 2,
Is this correct?
is there a motion to approve? Point 2. Motion to
Yes.
move, is there support?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes. 7-202, subject of taxation, subjects of taxation.
So moved.
Correct.
I would just ask that we get rid of the point 1 and just have it as a standalone. With that friendly amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes. 7-203, exemptions.
Correct.
That good? Okay, we're good on that. Is there a motion to? Been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-204, duties of the city assessor, point 1.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2.
Yes. Correct.
Is there support? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3.
Correct.
Is there a motion to? It's been moved. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 4.
This one.
Yeah,
Correct.
And
I just
that-
had to get through it.
That happens?
All right.
it does happen?
Yes.
We're still using first-class mail?
Yes.
Okay. You know, that went up to like 70 cents or something. Commissioner Anderson?
Is 1 week long enough, like notice?
A lot of
that's-
what we're following is
Is-
following state law as
Okay.
well, so,
Okay.
yes.
Been moved. Is there support? Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Point 5.
Correct.
Does that ever happen? Does he ever, or she ever change it?
Yes, it can happen.
Okay, interesting.
So,
Go ahead.
question, do we
Madam
currently
Vice
have
Chair.
an assessor?
Mhm.
Okay, we do.
Mhm.
How long have they been there?
Our current assessor has been here, I want to say, a year and a half-ish, about a year.
About a year.
We're limited because the state requires a certain level of assessor for a city of our size, and there aren't very many in Michigan. So, but we have one, and she's very good, and so was our previous one.
Excellent. Is there a motion? It's motion. Is there support? Supported by the Vice Chair. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. Point 6.
Correct.
It's moved. Is there support? Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. 7-205, Board of Review, point 1.
Correct.
It's been moved and, is there a motion?
So moved.
Support. All those in favor say aye. Passes. Point 2.
Correct. Still following this. Okay.
Does this have to be adjusted to reflect, like, do we take? Yeah. So I guess, Kristen, would you just clean that up for us and then bring that back? Section 2. Yeah. Point 3.
Correct.
Is there a motion? It's moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. Point 4.
Correct.
It's been moved. Is there support? Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Point 5. I'm sorry. Those opposed? Passes unanimously. Point 5.
Does this happen?
Mm-hmm.
But does it happen?
Yeah. So, been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Passes. Point 6. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. Point 7.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. 7.206, point 1. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. Point 2.
Correct.
Is there a motion? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. Point 3.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Do we ever have any jeopardy assessments that have been filed? Do we know? Just,
I believe we do. I remember conversations going back to a previous treasurer when businesses would go out of business, so.
oh, gotta move quick. Okay, got it. Commissioner Washington.
Could I have an explanation of a jeopardy assessment?
It's an assessment that will be established through an affidavit, I think, by the city assessor at a time when they can show that there is a fear that the person who owns the debt is going to leave or disappear, or the property's gonna disappear, and so they gotta move really quickly to preserve the asset, or at least try to get the money. Yep. Any, is there a motion to move? Been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. 7-207. What is the purpose for this section? I mean, is this, we don't collect, we only collect our taxes, correct?
We collect for other taxing authorities.
Oh, do you really? Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's
So
what I
we're
was worried about.
collecting and then we're dispersing.
Okay,
Yes.
makes sense. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-208, collection of taxes, point 1.
Correct.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2.
Correct.
Is there a motion? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3.
Correct.
So moved.
So are these amounts and dates correct?
They are.
Okay,
Yes.
great. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 4.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-209. Point 1. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2.
Correct.
Is there a motion? Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3.
Correct.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 4.
Correct.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes. Chapter 3, borrowing, 7-301.1.
Correct.
Is there a motion to support? Is there a motion? Anyone?
Support.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2.
Correct.
It's been moved, supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-302.1.
Yes, we're bound by that 10%. Okay.
It's been moved and supported. Is, so is this what would be referred to as the debt limit
Yes.
for the city? And
Yes.
just, do you know what that number is? I'm just curious what 10% would be.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2.
Okay.
It's been moved and
That's correct.
supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-303, use of borrowed funds, point 1.
Correct.
It's been moved
Second.
and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2.
Correct.
Is there a motion? It's been moved. Is there support? Support. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3.
Yes.
So moved.
Commissioner Dowd.
So this is authorizing council to authorize the remaining funds. And I'm curious if that's how that's happening right now? Is that how that should? Because the mayor's presenting the budget. So wouldn't the mayor have then?
Well, it's not really a part of the budget, is it? Or are they looking at that for when the bonds, the maturity date on the bonds, and do they take it up during the budget process? I think I've seen a lot of this with the CSO program.
Yeah, this is, and what it looks like to me is, the key words here are unexpended and unencumbered. So they're not identified with a particular project or a liability. So these proceeds then would show as a surplus.
Right.
And then it would be council, the city council kind of guiding what we're going to do with those surplus funds, because that, again, is part of their job. So that's just the way I'm reading this one.
Well, that's how I read it too. I just wasn't sure if that made sense and if really the mayor should have that allocation responsibility versus council.
I think council's responsible for all the
Yes.
expenditures.
Okay.
The
Yes.
approval.
Okay.
So does this happen outside of the budget process? The general budget process, when the budget's presented, council does the hearings, and then they approve a budget? Does this happen sometimes outside of it? The budget's approved and it kicks off on July 1, and all of a sudden by October 1st, we've got a surplus from some, bond that is matured. Is that taken into account?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again,
Okay.
I haven't been here long enough to
Okay.
see how the city
appreciate
does it. I could say typically, but that wouldn't apply to that wouldn't help us here.
Yeah.
I could do some research on that,
Oh,
though.
just wondering, I mean, again, where I've seen this is when, we'll have some CSO project that bonds were issued for, they've completed it, and they've excess revenue now from the bond expenditure, and then the recommendation is to roll that over into a new bond for a new CSO segment to be done. I think that's where I've seen it employed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I recall seeing unexpended and unencumbered bonds being reappropriated to another project
Oh, okay. No.
that I can recall. But I don't know that we generally fully borrow for all the projects, so I think there's frequently a general fund portion, so I think it maybe come out
Coming over
of that, so.
Okay.
This
right.
is not one that I'm familiar with.
All right, so was that moved and supported? Moved. All right, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-304. Commissioner Boyd.
In this provision, it talks about interest coupons may be executed with the facsimile signatures of the mayor and the city clerk. Does that mean auto pen? What does that mean? And to follow up on my question, why haven't we addressed this in other parts of the charter? I'm sure that there are other things the mayor has to sign, or the clerk has to sign, and I think this is the first I've seen a reference to the auto pen. Am I right?
It's the first reference or the only reference I can think of. The way the bond process works is, these are all done through attorneys too.
Of course.
We have bond counsel, and we sign off on the bond issuance. But then the bonds may be sold in different amounts to various different people throughout
Right.
whoever's wanting to buy municipal bonds. So, to have a separate independently signed bond for each person who's buying a bond, I think it would be more than a full-time job just signing them for some of them. I mean, if you think about some of the size of the bonds that we do.
I would just ask the follow-up question, if there are other things that the mayor or the clerk have to sign as per our charter, then should we be referencing use of the auto pen? And I say this because we've had this happen nationally where there was some question as to who was signing what, and the auto pen was being used. And having worked for a governor, I know that the auto pen is used, so I'm just asking the question.
I think there is sufficient state law in effect that we use electronic signatures on a great many things already. There's state law that addresses contracts specifically that can use electronic signatures, so We routinely.
I wonder if our legal counsel should just review that, and just to make sure.
Sure, yep.
So we'll come back to that at a later time. 7-30, Commissioner Anderson, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, if state law allows us to do that anyways, we should probably just remove that sentence completely. So, that's it. Right.
Yeah.
We'll come back with some language for that. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yes, I get it. 7-305, special assessment bonds, point 1. Motion and support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2. Is there a motion? Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 3.
So moved.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Chapter 4, Special Assessments, 7-401, Powers to Assess. Is there support or motion?
So moved.
Been moved, is it, and support. I had a question about this. The special assessment that was, I think I have this right, that was levied citywide for the Red Cedar project. Is that what happened?
Yes, it was, I know it was citywide. I don't know if it was perhaps a higher rate within the district.
There was a higher rate for those
Yeah.
properties that benefited, and then,
Yeah, I don't know if there was a determination that the entire city benefited from.
well,
it
they
or-
passed a resolution that everybody's getting nicked for it. So how does that happen? Where, I mean, so is there an actual determination made then by council that all properties in the city are benefited by the work that was done there?
I can get you the resolution that adopted it, and
Okay.
perhaps it might have some.
Kristen, would that have to
information.
have happened to be able to do that?
Well, generally with a special assessment, there does have to be a finding that it benefits the properties at issue, so.
Okay. Yeah, could you pass that on? Thank you. Just curious. Okay, point 1, is there a motion? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point 2. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's moved, support. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes unanimously. 7-402, procedure ordinance. Is there a motion to support? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes. 7-403, additional assessments. Point 1. Is this correct? Correct. Yes. Is there a motion? Moved and support. All those in favor say aye. Passes. Point 2. It's been moved and supported. So to Commissioner Dowd's point, in the prior section, there was a 2/3 requirement vote. And this section just says confirmed by a vote of city council. I know it's a little different. We're talking about bonds and stuff, but should it be 2/3? vote? I mean, I guess it's more of a procedure. Commissioner Washington?
I would
Two-thirds.
prefer two-thirds.
Okay, it's been moved. Okay, so point two, there's been a motion to amend the language to read confirmed by two-thirds vote of the city council. So we would just add two-thirds between by and vote as the proposed amendment that's been moved and supported. On the amendment, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes. So point two is amended. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-404, contest of assessments or contest of assessments, point one. We do? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point two. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-405, lien and collection of special assessments, point one.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. Point two. Oh, I'm sorry. Back at point one. Yeah, okay. Without objection, we'll just remove the quotation marks. Okay. Point two.
Correct.
There's support or motion? It's been moved and I'll support. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, passes. 7-406. Has been moved and supported. Has this happened before? Do we know?
I'm not sure on this one. Let me see.
I mean, I
Just placing
don't
a
object
lien,
to it. I'm
basically?
just curious if we've ever implemented that, or if the city's ever implemented it. Well, with that, is there a motion and support on that? Oh, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Passes. Sure.
I'd like to ask a point of order on that last 7-406,
Okay.
postponement of payments. I don't quite understand that. So if I live in a special assessment district and I can't afford the special assessment, this says that I can make a claim to the city to not making that payment, correct?
Correct.
And the city will somehow make up the difference. Is that right?
No, the city's going to place a lien on your property that if you should sell it in the future, the proceeds of that sale will pay for
Okay.
whatever the special assessment is.
Okay.
In the interim, is it earning, or is it accruing interest, or?
I would assume so. but
Yeah,
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
I mean, I would think we could look, I'm sure it's part of some ordinance somewhere. Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, if you go back to point two, it talks about council may provide by ordinance for fees, penalties, and interest for late payment or non-payment of special assessments. So that's
Okay.
probably
Thank
what's
you.
going on.
Thank you, I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
You're welcome. 7-407, special assessment accounts.
Correct.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes unanimously. 7-408.
Correct.
Is there a motion? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes. Okay, that takes care of Article 7. So we've gone through all the articles, but for the transition article. Crystal, thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having
It really
me.
helps to have that expertise here and gets us through this a lot quicker, and
Okay.
it does. It does. We
And
get the
I
question.
will report back out on these questions that you had as well.
Thank you.
Okay? All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a good night.
You have comp time now, so take it on Friday.
Okay.
Okay. So, public comment. Now is the time for public comment. Is there anyone interested in talking to us?
Do we want to try Matt B first? No. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we have Kayla Michaela and Nick Finch. You'll have up to 3 minutes to address the commission.
Hi. My name is Caitlin Makla, and I'm here to support the proposed ethical investment clause. I love Lansing with all my heart, and I want to see it reflect the values held dear by myself, my loved ones, and so many people that I respect and trust. Lansing wants and deserves that our money be used to enrich our communities, not harm them, and though it may be challenging to extract one from the other, I would love to see us try. I appreciate what Amanda said earlier during the presentation about the clause being sort of a guardrail. I think right now we could use as many guardrails as possible to protect our communities from those who prioritize profit over people. I appreciate that it might not feel like the Charter Commission's responsibility. I personally feel it's everyone's responsibility to be having this conversation and that it should be held in every space, regardless of level of expertise. I appreciate that it feels challenging or drastic to implement, and I recognize there are criticisms to the language, to the application, to the place to have this conversation. I really just hope that won't prevent further discussion. I'm grateful for your suggestions on other ways to achieve this vision. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, and next we have Nick Finch.
Hi. Thanks so much for taking all of your time. I know that your job is huge, and you get paid like $18,000, which is not a lot for what you do. But also, this is your jobs, right? And when we voted to bring the commission up to be like re-looked at by people that we voted for, what we were promised in that little bargain was like, yes, it takes some funding, but also it really needs to be updated. And also by choosing that we get to vote for who's on the commission, it's our way of having a voice in what happens. And so that said, I'm also here to support the ethical investment clause, and I really found everybody's input super valuable as to like maybe some more appropriate folks that we should be talking to. And accessibility is a major issue. And right now we have you guys and we have the city council who are accessible to us on the city level, and not a lot else. So one thing that I was doing some research as you all were making those comments, and the Sustainability Commission, is that the Mayor's Advisory Commission on Sustainability? Okay, so I'm sure that a lot of people here probably have opinions about like the efficacy of Mayor's Advisory Commissions. In addition to that, we're getting a new mayor soon, potentially. In addition to that, the city website about the Mayor's Advisory Commission on Sustainability really has nothing about if we can contact them, right? We go to city council, we go to city commission board, there's links, there's email addresses, we go to this, it says there's a meeting every month. However, it says the upcoming meeting agenda is for December 2024, and the last meeting minutes that have been published are also from 2024. They also say that the majority of their meetings are online. However, there is no link to those meetings. So that's not accessible for us. We also are not finance people. I've learned the most about finance through working with the Michigan Retirement Board on their divestment. And to answer your question about what happened after they held a special meeting simply to divest from Russia and Belarus, after all of that research, they found they had no investments in Belarus, and in Russia, they had a whole lot. Let me tell you, I got the number. They had, oh, where is it? This is all just talking about why they did it. We know why. 58.8 million. And the way that they did that, because, it was complicated, but possible. And it's like, we have jobs, we don't have time to be doing this research, but like, you all do get paid $18,000 to be here, and I know it's not a lot, but like, the feedback is helpful, and accessibility is an issue. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now's the time, real quickly, for commissioner reports. Commissioner Boyd.
I have a point, I have just a question for you, Mr. Chair. So at our next meeting, what will we be doing?
We're going to start doing cleanup. We've got, I've asked Emery to go through and identify all of the sections and provisions that we have not yet approved. So for example, we haven't done the fire board language, we haven't done the police board language, we haven't done the city attorney's language. We're going to go through and identify all of those pieces and then come back and try to wrap that stuff up. And then finally, we'll do one last swing around. In that last swing around, we're not going to go chapter by chapter. It's going to go, this is the article. What questions do people have? What issues do they have? It would be helpful if you could start putting a list together so we're just not addressing it for the first time so people can prepare. Really would like to get this done by no later than the first Tuesday in June, so we can get it to the Attorney General and the Governor so they have enough time to review. And if there is then an issue that they find, we're going to have to reconvene, work that out, and then get it to Chris by no later than August 8th. Typically, the AG and the Governor need 3 months. They have said on average to do this. We're only giving them 2, probably maybe a little bit less than 2. So if we're all really prepared, I think we can get this done quickly and get it out so it's ready to go in November. Yeah.
I have just 2 more questions of clarification. So we don't have to worry about going through Article 8? That's something we don't have to do?
We did Article 8 last week.
Okay, so we're all set with 8.
There's, I think, a couple of things coming back.
Okay.
Again, it's that cleanup.
And then we have a letter in our packet from the council president about the makeup of the council. Now, we voted on the makeup of the council. I guess I'm wondering if it's appropriate or not to ask this commission, is this something that we think we want to revisit or not?
No. It's going to be an issue that comes up when we wrap around it.
Yeah, I knew that. I just guess I wanted.
Yeah, you're going to have people.
Because I kind of want to know if I
But they're
need to put my thoughts together in writing, because if it's going to be something that we are thinking about. And I asked that question in the elevator going down one time, and I think there was a myriad of responses, kind of like there was tonight.
Yeah. I think as we wrap up the stuff, as we do this in has asked us to do, there will be, once we get this kind of done, there's got to be a final look at each one of these articles for purposes of punctuation and just going through all of that. So either groups or individual commissioners will be assigned an article to do that overview. So there's going to be a couple of different sets of eyes on it. And so we've got that yet to do as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? We're done. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Lopez.
See, I didn't say anything all night tonight.
You can?
No, I was looking at the city ordinances, code of ordinances, And there's 206.23. It says purchasing, leasing, renting, or taking consignment goods for use or for resale by city-owned enterprises. The city shall not, to the extent possible, purchase, lease, rent, or take on consignment goods or supplies for use or resale that have been produced under sweatshop conditions. Okay? So there's the ordinance on sweatshops, and it also includes the enterprises that violate human rights, civil rights, and labor law. So we have a little bit of that. I just want to point that out. That's in this proposed ordinance. And I don't know if that would be a stepping stone to kind of look at it, further. Because we've already addressed, sweatshops and child labor and human rights, civil rights. So-
That's a vehicle that they could use to
Right.
launch from or to amend. And again, they would have to go to council and
Yeah.
start that whole process. But yeah, I agree that ordinance addresses.
I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Okay, yep. We're now adjourned.
I'm sorry.